but it was a doctor.
Yeah.
I guess she was going to start a real estate company or something.
never
and then
did.
she moved from Texas to California, and I just couldn't reach her.
Yeah.
So that's why we're actually Family Home Team LLC is our legal name and then Family Realty Group is just DBA.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you can do the DBA.
Yeah, I can do DBA, but my legal name is Family Home Team.
Family Home Team? Yeah, well, I couldn't get the guy from Canada to respond, nor could I get Twitter to change it, so I have to go real Bob Mortgage. But everywhere else, just follow me, Bob Mortgage.
Bob Mortgage.
Are we good? Brandon?
Oh yeah, I'm already watching the show.
Oh, you're already watching?
Oh, you're watching us. Oh, hi, Brandon.
Enjoying it.
So we're already actually live on our cameras, your camera, and we have our vlog cameras going.
So let's go. What's up?
All right, Alexa, off. 1 for 1 today.
Did you listen?
1 for 1 today.
Oh.
I love it. I'm good. Guys, I'm so excited. We got Chauncey Pham who stops by today. This is the 82nd episode of the Bob Mortgage Jam Session.
82?
82 of these jam sessions. Oh, I got to turn off my noisemaker.
And this
on
is
my
what?
computer.
I think this is my third?
Yeah, you're up there. I mean,
I think this is my third or fourth.
It is. You got great content, man. I'm excited to have you back. I want to talk about some different things over the last one. Because if you go back and watch these other jam sessions, guys, you can go to YouTube or Facebook, Bob Mortgage, and you can find how awesome she was the last couple of times.
you.
But I'm going to put her on the hot seat on a couple of different ones. But if you do not know her, you need to know this lady. She's a realtor, a top producer, a vlogger, a mentor, a ball buster, and you grew 2 humans.
I did.
Yes, I'm picking this up. I did a little research on you.
I am a ball buster.
Yeah, you are.
The biggest ball buster of them all.
Well, you do a lot, and I just would love for you to be able to kind of spend a little bit of time with me, whether that's 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, just sharing some of the process that you've gone through. You've had to go through a lot. You've had to accomplish a lot of things to get to the point that you are, and I know that you have one of the things that I love the most, which is what drives me, is the hustle and the mindset.
Right.
I mean, it's like our oxygen, right? I mean, we have to get up because we know every day, whether it is or it isn't, we treat it this way. Our back's against the wall.
Absolutely.
And we're going to come out fighting and swinging, and we're going to go earn it. Nothing's going to be given to us. I don't know how much was ever given you. Not a whole lot was given to me.
Nothing.
We have to go out and get everything. And that's something I've always respected of you, watching you go through the things that you do through your vlogs and just all the social media posts that you put out there. So let's start out with this. Grew 2 humans. I mean, you're a mother. Tell me a little bit about your personal life. If you know what you want to get into.
Personal
married,
life.
Kids, what ages they are. Just give me a little download. All right, I know, but give my audience a little bit of that.
Okay, so I have been with my husband for 10 years. We have been married for almost 8 years.
Okay.
I have an 8-year-old daughter, so don't do the math on that. She's almost 9. Don't do the math on that. And then a son that's almost 5. Let's see. My husband and I, we met at work.
Oh, where's your daughter right now?
In the other room.
She's in my conference room watching Disney.
My schedule this week sucks.
We're like, hey, you want to get on the jam session with us, or do you want to watch Disney? She's like, I'm watching Disney.
This week sucks because camps haven't officially started, school's out, so she's just at home like, Mommy, I'm bored. So this week she's being a realtor.
She's going to be a realtor. First she's going to be watching Disney. Now she's going to be a realtor next. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no problem. But no. Basically, my husband and I, we met at work 10 years ago. I worked in a super duper, high pressured, boiler room sales environment, and I was the only chick.
Oh, wow.
And that was where my ball busting began.
Man. Okay.
It was legit, crap talking, trash talking, loud cussing on the phones, closing deals, pick up for me over here. It was a crazy sales environment. I was one of the top salespeople there, and I was the only chick. And so I guess my husband and I just kind of gravitated towards each other. He was, at the top of his game at that time, ended up moving up in that same industry to director of sales. Mm-hmm. I kind of got out of it, but that's where we met.
It was the confidence, I think, that he was like, oh, I like this girl.
Because
she's a closer. She's confident. I like it.
And I trash talked with the guys, and I did pretty good. But so that was that. And then I transitioned from that business, which was merchant services, credit card processing, into marketing. So my last job before I went into real estate full time, I was an account executive for a marketing firm. So I have a little bit of all of it. So I have like the hardcore closing sales background, and then I also have the marketing background. And then even rewind a little bit further back, I went to college on a debate and oratory scholarship. So
debate.
I went to college on a debate and oratory scholarship. So speaking was always very natural for me. Like I was literally a trained speaker.
And to be a good debater, you got to be a really good listener, don't you?
And you've got to be a really good listener. And you also have to understand arguing from the affirmative and the negative, which is both sides. And I've used that throughout my sales, career and everything to kind of propel me to where I am now, because I mean, just listening and then taking it and then arguing it from both sides, and then, kind of coming from
that's got to be just an amazing perspective, and what that skill set and what you have in negotiating contracts, negotiating deals. I mean, that has had to help you.
It has.
When more others are like, how the hell does she do that?
Right. And because it's so natural for me, and because I've done it for a long time, I'll be honest, I struggle when people don't understand how to do it, because it's so natural for me. And I'm like, why wouldn't you think to do that? And so that is one of my struggles that I would say. But yeah, just to wrap up, that's my whole personal zhuzh. Basically I've been selling stuff for my whole life.
Yeah. So real estate, get up. What, you just start going heavy and get into real estate right when you get up, or is there a morning routine that you go through? Anything?
I wake up and yell at kids, tell kids to go faster, stop being so slow. Let's go faster, guys, pick up the pace. But yeah, no, now I'm incorporating walking and just kind of clearing my mind, because I mean, something that I think a lot of us don't talk about in the self-employment space is anxiety. Because we usually have a little bit of anxiety in the back of our heads, whether you have a system in place, a plan in place, no matter what, you are out there on this island on your own. And I've found myself with so many different ideas and so many, places that I'm trying to go with having some anxiety. So I have incorporated now my morning routine, get up and go walk, jog, run for at least an hour. And I'm finding that clears kind of my mind and my space. But other than that, no like crazy rituals, just get to it.
Get to work.
Get to work.
Well, the anxiety and that nervous or excitement energy, there's a fine line. There's a fine line between people that have true anxiety that cripple them, that make them afraid to do something. Where those that have that nervous or excitement energy turn anxiety into that and actually use it for movement forward, for forward progress. Found that's because I could easily have that anxiety of not wanting to do things, but I found mine was through playing sports, where I could figure out, well, look, you don't have an option. Either you're going to walk up and get a base hit, strike out, walk, whatever it is. You're going to figure that out. So there's nothing to be anxious about. Just be nervous or excited about it and go do it.
Correct.
And I think that was like that moment where I realized you're going to have to walk out on the stage, and you're either going to perform or you're not. So you better figure out how to walk out on the stage. Right.
Correct.
Yeah. So where do you draw your inspiration from?
Honestly, myself. I've been asked this question, multiple times. Like, who is your inspiration? Like, is there like this person? And honestly, it's me, because I remember who I was 10, 15 years ago. I was a mess. Like you guys get to see this nice, put together Chauncey, and like I wasn't always this Chauncey. I partied hard. I drank way too much. Borderline like, you got an issue because you're hitting the sauce pretty early, girl. Like, I mean, it was
okay.
And I was that type of party girl, and I didn't have a care in the world, no responsibility, and I kind of transformed myself and took. And I'm one of those people that I kind of do everything to the extreme. So when I partied. When I partied, like, I partied to the extreme. I was the best partier. I was the best screw up that there was, right? So then when I flipped the script and decided, okay, I'm done with that, I decided to kind of be the best at the game that I'm playing now. And so I kind of draw from the inspiration of looking back at who I was, the mess that I was, and how my mom always has this saying, and I literally live by it. And she used to always say, like, you're drowning in 2 feet of water, just stand the hell up. You
Wow,
are drowning
that's
in
great.
2 feet of water. Just stand the hell up. And that's what I did. And so like even now, I draw from that. Is just looking back at who I was, the things that I used to do, and look where I am now. And I didn't do anything revolutionary. I just stood the hell up.
It got much more clear to you.
Right.
Once you stood up, what
Right.
you needed to do, what you needed to get away from, or that's pretty much what happened.
Pretty much what happened.
Stood up.
Just stood up.
What's a fun fact that people wouldn't know about you? I know you're pretty open on social, so you just shared with me something I didn't know, which I guess that kind of screwed my question up. But what would be something that nobody would know about you?
I'm a very odd person, Bob. So in what regard? I love, just a random weird fun fact.
Just a random fun fact.
I have a strange obsession with like the rigor process. So like I'm one of those people that secretly when I'm walking or driving, I look over in ditches because I think I'm going to be the person to like discover a body. So I watch like body documentary, like forensic science documentaries, and because I like processes and understanding processes. And everyone kind of shies away from that process. And I must mention that my grandfather is also a funeral director and a mortician. And so I've always kind of been around that.
Okay.
And so I know this is like a really weird space. You're like, how did we get here?
This is
like,
good stuff.
Like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
But I've just always been very intrigued with that process. I don't know why.
You want to find a dead body.
Not really. Like, no, because then something bad would have had to happen to someone. But I'm just saying, like, just the process of it is very intriguing. So I watch a lot of documentaries and like murder mystery documentaries and CSI type stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So why did you get into real estate? Why not go that route? That sounds like that would be kind of fun.
Not really
Not
though.
really,
It's kind of depressing. So it's just like a thing on, my little side thing. So yeah, so that's like one weird fun fact. Another is that I like a lifelong dream is to go on a game show. Like I want to be on some sort of game show, The Amazing Race or Survivor or The Price is Right.
That seems a little bit easier. I don't know. Survivor, I think there's too much. I mean, too much angling going on there. Just go with Price is Right.
Right. So yeah. So those are 2 fun facts.
Okay, you want to be on a game show?
Yes.
Do we have anybody out there that has game shows that we can hook her up with?
I really need to be on a game show.
Okay, let's see if we can make that happen. Social media is pretty powerful. So why did you get into real estate?
Because my realtor sucked.
Ooh, wow, ouch. Okay.
I mean,
reality,
there is no other way to say it. And I think a lot of people get into it thinking that the business is a lot easier than it is. I did.
Yep.
Initially, my husband and I kind of inadvertently became flippers. We bought a house, sold it like 18 months later, made a good, return on it, bought another house, did it again, did it a third time. And every time we did it, we would change agents hoping to find this, great agent.
Right.
And it never happened. And I always end up taking the transaction about midway through and carrying it to close. And I'm not joking. When I say taking it and carrying it, I was making the calls to the lenders and the title company.
Well, because you've said this word a couple of times, process.
Right.
You're a process-driven person.
Right.
And that realtor, I'm assuming, wasn't.
No.
And you were butting heads. There was conflict.
It was terrible.
There, yeah.
They just, you got to trust the process. Like, no, you don't. You take the process by its horns and like you guide it. And so what are you doing?
Okay.
And so that's initially why I got into it. And I honestly got into it to be part-time. It was going to be like our vacation money.
Yep.
I liked my job. I was an account executive for a marketing company. I worked from home most of the time. I got to fly out and travel and meet with my clients. I got to sit in on some really cool, food photography shoots. Like it was a pretty fun place to work.
Job, yeah.
Right. And all of the people that I worked with were great. And so I said, okay, I'll get my license. So if we buy another house and sell it, I'll do it myself. And then if friends and family, want to buy a house, I'll hook them up and there'll be Disney money.
Right.
That was the goal, but I think because naturally I understood how to market, I just started marketing myself.
So the marketing, the boiler room, hustle, closing, all that stuff started to come in when you mix that with process and real estate. you found something that you could really build a business on.
Absolutely.
Did anybody discourage you out of the gate? Did
Oh,
your husband,
yes.
was it like, you don't need to do this full time?
No, not my husband.
Disney money?
My husband actually is the one that pushed me to quit my job.
Wow. Okay.
My husband saw very early on, and I remember being on the phone and like talking to a client and walking around in the bedroom, maybe like the first month that I was in it. And when I hung up the phone, he was like, "You're really good. Like, I don't think you know how good you are. Like, you know what you're doing."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Whatever." And so then about another month passed by.
Did you say whatever? You say whatevs.
Yeah. Like, whatever, dude. And so about another month passed by, and he just kept, because I mean, within my first 3 months, I closed 7 deals. Like, I had 7 closings. And so he was like,
wow,
what, like, why are you still doing this other, like, quit. Like, you need to quit. So he actually was the encourager for me, but there were a lot of other people that were like, oh, I know lots of people get in real estate. They only sell like 1 house a year, and well, like, those people aren't me, so I'm not really concerned about what Susie did.
So you didn't listen to him?
No. Literally, my personality is whatever you tell me to do or that I can't do, I automatically do it.
Okay.
So my husband knows that is the trick.
So if I tell you you can't do something, that's what you're going to
That's
go
what
accomplish.
I'm going to go
Right.
do. And then I'm going to see you later and be like, all
Hey,
right.
guess what?
So yeah. So.
What's driving you to continue?
The fact that now that I've gotten into it, I see so many different tunnels of ways that I can build a legacy. So at first, when I first started, it was just to produce an income, right? To replace my job. Then it was, well, I can actually build a business. And then it was, I can build multiple businesses and multiple streams of income. And now it's, I can build a legacy for my kids.
Wow.
And so I'm at a different place than I was when I started almost 3 years ago, and I'm looking at it totally differently.
Yep.
And now I'm kind of going into all of these different tunnels, and that's what's keeping me going. Is, I mean, every day I'm discovering something new, and my wheels are turning and figuring out a way that I can turn it into something for my kids.
Right. You're not looking at it as an individual transaction.
No.
It's more from a legacy perspective. How many more people can you impact? How can they
Absolutely.
see what you're doing and learn from what you're doing?
Right.
I'm assuming they watch you, right?
Oh,
they watch
they
your
watch
hustle.
everything.
They watch the
Oh, that
the
one
ups
in
and the
there
downs.
has
Yeah.
helped me sell some houses.
Yeah.
She's helped me close some deals. I'm not joking. Like, she's gone with me on showings like, I think this is the one that you should buy. And they bought it. She's a closer.
Yeah, I like her.
She's a closer. So yeah, no, but that's kind of where I am now, is just not necessarily building just my business, but building a legacy. Yeah.
Was there any like specific type of characteristics or that you had to kind of develop, or you feel like you need to have to be successful in this real estate game?
No, but it boils down to 2 things, and I say this all the time, and even say it to my agents. You got to have skill, or you got to have will. I kind of put myself into one bucket of skill, meaning I can talk to 5 people about buying and selling a house, and of those 5 people, I can easily convert 3. Period.
Okay.
I can give them what they want to hear and enough confidence and sell them enough just based on my raw, natural skill and ability to talk to them to convert them. And so that's my thing, is I have the skill. Then you've got the people that don't necessarily have that. They don't really like talking to people that much. They're not very persuasive. On the sales side, that's not necessarily their strong suit, and that's totally fine. Those people have to understand that they've got to have the will. And so the will, meaning you've got to have your processes, and you've got to be consistent, and you've got to do what you need to do, because I can talk to 5, you got to talk to 25 to get those same 3. And if you're only talking to 5 because you don't have the will to get up and go and find those other 20, then your results ain't going to be like mine. It's going to be totally different. And so I don't necessarily think that there's anything special that anyone has to have. You just got to know where you stand. Which bucket do you fall in, skill or will? And so that natural ability can carry you enough to live and make it. But then, you know, if you don't have that natural ability, then you got to at least have the will to get up and go.
Wow, that's really nice how you broke that down, because a lot of people won't have the skill. Skill is, I mean, it's hard to obtain.
Right.
Will is, would you say that's more of how successful entrepreneurs have to think? I mean, they have to have a certain type of mindset? I mean,
Right.
how do you feel like they have to what do you think a successful entrepreneur would have to think to be successful? What's their mind going through?
Oh, I mean, hell, just not thinking that anyone is going to give anything to you. So understanding that anything that you get has to be taken. And I think in real estate in particular, an idea that's perpetuated by brokerages, by other agents, that's just out there is that, and Matt Kelderman, he's an awesome agent with KW. There was this thread yesterday on the only real estate group that you should be a part of.
Okay.
That like he, Nick Good, Brian Force, they run, and Nick had asked a question: if you could go back to the beginning of your real estate career and change one thing, what would it be? And Matt said, I wouldn't have spent my first 2 years thinking that someone was going to save me, and thinking that someone was going to come along and give me all the answers to, to fix everything and how to do it and make the money. And understanding that the business, there are multiple different ways that you can get out and do it. So I would say that an entrepreneurial mindset is one that understands there is no saving, there is no blueprint, there's no book that's going to tell you exactly how to do it. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and they're going to be out there willing to kind of come up with some of those ideas on their own.
So it's a mindset that the back's against the wall. You got to come out swinging to make it happen.
Absolutely.
And to be successful as an entrepreneur, do you feel the best? I guess that would be the best trait is the frame of mind that you're in, but then the willingness to win at all cost.
Absolutely.
You feel like that's a trait that you have to.
You have to have that.
What about losing though? So I hear people talk about, how they love losing, how they hate losing. Where do you kind of stand on the whole is losing good, is losing bad type?
I don't lose. I mean.
You don't lose.
I don't lose because. So, I try not to set. There's only winning and losing if there's an expectation.
Okay.
If you don't have an expectation for other people around you, then of course they can't fail you because you never had an expectation of them to begin with.
Well, you'll always be disappointed.
Or you'll always be disappointed. And as for yourself, the lessons that come, the outcomes that come regardless of the situation, and whether it's favorable and it's something that makes you happy or it's not, it's an experience that you're going to use to propel you to the next level anyway. So I don't ever look at it as a loss. Like in real estate, like, have there been deals that, has there been a listing that I got and then was fired from? Yes. But do I look at it as a loss? No, because you know what happened? The deal that I had, the one listing that I had that I was fired from, the agent that was on the other side of the transaction that went south before it went south now works at my brokerage and is one of my best full-time producing agents. Also, the son of the seller of that house now works for my brokerage and was highly impressed with the way that I handled the transaction, although I was fired. So like I took that loss. It wasn't really a loss, and now it's a win.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't look at it. I don't look at things like losses.
So I completely agree. Now I do look at wins and losses just because of my sports background and everything like that. I mean, where there's always a win and a winner and a loser when you're thinking about it in sports, right? But how I took that into entrepreneurship was because I grew up hating losing. I absolutely hate to lose. But then some wise coach along the way taught me that you can only learn from losing.
Right.
And I had to flip the switch, and now I understand it a whole lot better as an entrepreneur, what they were teaching me. Back then, they didn't say it the same way because I just don't think the terminology was used the way it is.
Right.
It's not as sexy,
right?
Or it's more sexy today than it was back then, which is, you lose, but you learn,
right?
And then that way you can improve so you don't lose again the next time. right? So you never do ever lose.
You don't ever really lose.
But I hate it. I hate getting beat.
Right.
I mean, I look at it, if I lose a deal, right? I have all these successes, 26,000 loans plus provided to families.
But
I forget
one
about
deal.
That one deal that we lost, man, I'm all on my team.
Why did we lose it? What did we do?
Because I'm trying to learn. Because
Right.
I hate it.
Right.
But I'm trying to learn from it. I don't remember this. I remember this. And it's like, oh my God, how do we improve this? What do we need to do there? And I'm going down that rabbit hole. And my team's like, Bob, chillax. It's okay. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I hated this.
And
right? But I'm learning.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't get to me like that. I just, whatever, move on.
So if you have that, then what's holding you back from accomplishing everything that you want to accomplish?
Me.
Okay.
Me and time.
You and time.
That's it. There's nothing else that's anything. And I'm one of those people, like, I literally think that, which people think I'm crazy because I legit throw stuff out and I'm like, I'm going to do that. And I did it. I had a friend that said that, and she said, you know, a couple years ago when you said you were going to quit your job and do real estate, I thought you were crazy. Mm-hmm. I thought you were nuts. And she was like, and look, you know, kind of where you are now. You know, I've had an older kind of mentor at one point when I expressed a few months ago kind of like what the next step is for me and what I'm thinking in terms of, and she's, don't get crazy, don't get greedy, you know, calm down.
Right.
And so I legit think that big. And I didn't always. But being in real estate, I see it.
But how did you start? Okay, you didn't. And
I didn't.
So there had to be, what did you do? Was there anything specifically that you did to start believing in yourself that you could?
This is going to sound really bad. But you know that I have to just be honest.
Yeah.
So getting into real estate, of course, opens you up to all of these people that are at these crazy levels of success. And when you meet them, you expect to be extremely impressed. Because, like, man, that person does, like,
right.
$500 million of real estate a year, you know, in the Dallas, that's nuts. And you meet them, and it's like, womp, womp, womp. And legit, when I got in this business and started seeing these people at levels far beyond anything I've ever thought that I could do,
Yeah.
and I saw them do it, it's a piece of cake. I can do this in my sleep.
Right.
And so I think that we, looking on the outside, before you kind of get into things and you start meeting people at the levels of life that you want to be at, you have this preconceived notion of who they are, how brilliant they're Einstein, that they're not just normal humans that outworked you.
Hell,
right?
some people you don't even meet. You just see it on IG or Facebook,
Right.
and they're projecting what they want you to think and feel.
Exactly.
So you buy into that.
And you buy into it. And then you meet them and you realize there's nothing extraordinary about them. But they obviously have the mindset. They obviously have the processes. They've put in the time, and where everyone else fell short and stopped, they pushed through those barriers and those walls and kept going. Mm-hmm. And I just understood at that moment, the more I kept meeting these people, like, these are just normal, everyday people just like me. Like, they like something weird, like I like weird things. Mm-hmm. They, you know, have struggles just like I have struggles, and they're just humans. And when I embraced that, I was like, hell, if they can do it, I can do it.
And so that was the moment where
absolutely
you found, I mean, you already had it, but you found the belief in yourself that you could accomplish it. Absolutely. Then it was pulling back into your past, and whether that's the debate, the boiler room, the process piece, you had to still, because those people, while you realize they're just normal people that have the same fun facts and struggles and all that kind of stuff, they do have a process and a system. It just
right.
didn't happen accidentally.
No.
So then you had to go move into that part of your background.
Right.
So you do a lot of things on social media.
I do.
You do.
I do.
I love it. I follow you all the time. If they wanted to follow you, from the audiences that don't know where you are, where would they follow you?
They can follow me on Instagram at estate_chick_real. They can follow me on YouTube by just typing in Chauncey the Realtor.
Wow.
And on Facebook by typing in Chauncey the Realtor.
Okay. Follow her, guys. She does some amazing things on social without really having all this. I mean, you don't have a production studio. You don't have somebody that's, being the digital ambassador of a brand, and I mean, this is you. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that, because it plays well with my audience here, because a lot of them are just like you. They want to do all this social, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to get started. They don't have the equipment, so they don't know what equipment to get. So how did you get started on this? Why did you get started on social media?
I mean, social media obviously is the one medium that you can reach the most amount of people. So when I got into this, I understood that like you can do the traditional way of doing things, knock on doors, you can cold call, you can do all of that. All of that stuff works. It's great. But I felt like I wanted to be an attractor instead of kind of chasing business. And so I wanted to expose myself to as many people as possible so that they could see who I was. So I wanted to always maintain the integrity of like, this is who I am. And it may not be for everyone. I'm going to drop F-bombs on my social media. You may not like it. Go to somebody else's page. But if you're my people, then you're my people. And so I kind of carried on this, like you said, people like to project who they are or want you to see on social media. Who I projected was who I was.
Who I was, right?
That's
yeah, exactly.
actually who I was, so that like you could decide if you liked me or not. And so when you wanted to use my services, you would come at me feeling like you already knew me. Okay. So I use social media as a way to get social with a lot of people.
Did you have anxiety? Was there anything holding you back from, yourself, right, to do this, to get out there and post and do videos at the frequency that you do them?
No, because that's the one thing that you have to be open to with being out on social media is being okay with other people kind of like sitting back and judging you. Like you have to be okay with that. And so you legit have to have like, can I say a bad word?
Yeah, sure. I mean, say whatever you want.
You legit have to like give no fucks.
Right.
Like you can't care that someone may see you on social media and not like that you said something.
Right.
You can't care that you may not have looked your best one day when you posted a video, because people want to see humans and they want to do business with humans.
Yeah, I think the judgment piece is what holds a lot of people back.
Yeah.
I agree with that. They are worried about what somebody's going to think, what somebody's going to say, and that stops them, and
Right.
they don't do it.
And they just don't do it at all.
They just don't do it, right? Because they're more concerned about what they feel or think, the others. And for me, it's the same way I'm sure for you, is you just got to get to that point where you don't care.
You just don't care.
You care because it's your brand.
Right.
You care because you want to help and project things that are positive in the world to impact more people so they can become better. But at the end of the day, you can't be worried about that singular comment.
Right.
Or the non-like or non-share
Absolutely.
of your content. So by being you, it makes it really easy.
Makes it really easy.
Makes it really easy. You just get to go out and do this.
Absolutely.
Now, what do you have to have
No.
six lights, 12 cameras?
You guys would laugh.
What equipment do you have to pull off the vlogging and the random rants, the pictures? I mean, what do you have to make this work?
A couple of apps and a decent point and shoot camera. I think I spent like $600 on my camera.
Okay.
I have a little tripod, like a mini gorilla pod that I can kind of manipulate it to hold itself up on different places. I have a ring light that costs about $130 on Amazon.
Yep.
And I learned and understood lighting. So I literally watched YouTube videos on how to shoot YouTube videos.
It's amazing what you can find on YouTube.
Like you just,
how do I
make a YouTube video and just put that into YouTube? And also though, because of, like I said, my marketing background and sitting in on photography shoots and things like that, I understood framing a little bit. And
lighting,
and
audio
lighting.
is important.
It's
Lighting
important.
and audio is
Right.
super important. And even if you're outside, guys, and you're on set or whatever, you don't have the proper lights.
Right.
Be focused on the audio.
Right.
Right, because some people can get away without having the right lights because you're on set, or not on set, but you're at your location shooting an open house or
Right.
a walkthrough.
Right.
You may not have perfect lighting, right? Which don't look in the lights, by the way. It's
Right.
all LED.
I know,
just,
they
I-
are.
yeah, I hurt
They're blinding. But no,
But you got to have great audio.
you do.
Yeah.
But I also researched and just found a good point and shoot camera that didn't need any external mics or anything.
Oh, good.
And so my camera, I don't even have an external mic. Like, it's just a straight up point and shoot. I take it with me. I shoot it when I'm at home and I'm actually vlogging. I have a couple of big, huge windows and doors. I, use that natural lighting.
Natural light, okay.
I use natural light more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I take advantage of like free stuff. So even like with your iPhone, did you know that Apple does free at all the Apple stores? They do free photography classes.
I know that they do a lot of things at Apple. I can't stand in line.
Free photography classes. So you want to
Really?
learn
I think
how
your
to
camera-
shoot.
I think your camera
my
just,
camera died on us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So there went my
and
live stream.
There's just so you know, in the bottom of my backpack, I have all external batteries, and you can take my Apple deal and then just hook
and
it
plug
up
me up to a battery back.
and do
My phone
battery
is
backup.
always dying.
At the bottom, dude. At the very bottom.
Yeah, so whatever. You're still streaming though, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm
On
still
this stuff?
streaming.
Yeah, so it's just my live.
Yeah, it's just your
that I don't
live.
people-
That's fine. I'll
But yeah,
hook you up.
Apple stores, they do free photography classes and they'll teach you how to use different features on your iPhone
Okay.
for free.
Yeah.
And so I just have taken advantage of a lot of that stuff and
That's cool. So you just learn. I mean, you're learning as you're doing
Learning
it.
as I'm
you don't
doing
You don't
it.
have to spend a lot of money. You're using a couple of free apps. Now, people talk about the editing side as the hardest, though.
I have an editor.
So you send it out for editing.
I send it out for editing.
Nice.
So I learned how to shoot myself, which saves me a ton of money, and then I send it out for editing. And I call my editor Batman.
Yep.
No one knows who he is.
That's awesome.
No one's ever seen his face. He's amazing. And I have lots of people like, who's your editor? Yep, nope.
Nope,
never
I ain't gonna do that.
Nope, you're not gonna know that one.
It's the hardest part.
It is.
It really is. It's the hardest part to pull it all together the way you need to because there are so many different ways to put content out on, and they
Right.
need to be framed right. They need to
Right.
be sized correctly differently for Facebook, for IG or stories or
Right.
YouTube. I mean, most people, I hate it when I'm looking on IG and I'm getting it as it's Facebook. driven, right? And it's
Right.
like, okay, this isn't working.
Right.
I can't see half of your quote.
But people
the image,
don't-
your head is up here,
And the
I'm
quote's
watching
down
your,
here.
I'm watching
It's
your
so
belly
weird.
button. I'm like, this is, I mean,
It's so weird. It is. And they need to understand that, whoever used for editor. But people also, so something that I think I was the queen of and that I've been really good at since I started in real estate is figuring out ways to look like you spend a lot of money without spending a lot of money.
Oh,
right?
okay.
And so some quick tips that I always tell people when it comes to video and putting out content is get creative, guys. Like we have right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area an awesome art school, the Art Institute of Dallas. It's there, okay?
where'd you go to school, Brandon?
Art Institute of Dallas.
Oh,
look at that.
freaking
That
Art
did your
Institute.
BP, yes.
So the Art Institute of Dallas, they have tons of graphic design students, all types of students that are struggling college students. They're hungry. If you just give them a little bit of beer sometimes and offer...
Make sure they're 21. Make sure they're 21.
Make sure they're 21.
Yeah.
But legit, you hook up with these people. Number one, they understand the latest and greatest of what's going on right now in that world. So their editing style is going to be totally different than like some old dude that you're paying a lot of money for. It's been shooting weddings since 2001. And so you can connect with students and they will do a great job for you for little to nothing.
Great advice, guys. That's legit right there. I mean, that's how I got started in doing what I'm doing on the vlogging side and building my brand and all those kind of things. Was I hired a summer intern. Right now is the perfect time if you're thinking about doing things like this. Go find a summer intern.
Go find an intern.
And see if it's something that you want to commit to. Because once you do that, you're going to see how it really can shape your brand and your business and what it could truly mean to you. Then you got to make a decision.
Right.
You have to make that decision. For me, it was the decision of, am I a mortgage company or am I going to be a media company? In my mind, in my
Right.
process. And I had to make that shift to say, wow, I love this. I see what it can do. I'm going to be more of a media company than a
Right.
mortgage company. Now, make no mistake. I'm a mortgage company. I do loans all over, and this is my bread and butter.
Right.
But I had to draw your attention to me, and the only way I knew how to do that
To media.
was become media.
Right.
Right? And so when you get into that mindset, you really have to make that decision because it's going to feel awesome and
Yeah.
you're going to see a lot of activity and engagement
Absolutely.
and this is going to be fun, but then it's going to go away because they have to go back to school.
Right.
And then you're going to be sitting there going, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't trained yourself to either do it yourself or spend the money,
Right.
but you're going to do one of the two things,
Yeah. It's
then
time
you're
or
gonna
money.
go, then you're going to go back to not doing it at all.
Right.
Right?
But I mean, it's just very important to kind of tap into different resources without breaking the bank. I mean, even with
Yeah.
staging, you got interior design students that need to build portfolios for when they graduate. Go and pluck some of those suckers out. They'll help you stage properties, and you don't have to spend $3,000. You can spend a lot less. Again, they're creative minds, and they're kind of in a stage of their careers right now where they're in the thick of what the trends are now, and
Sure.
and so you just can find value in different types of resources. And so that's something that I definitely tapped into getting into this was, look, I want to keep my overhead low, but how can I make it look like I'm spending top dollar?
So let's talk about Family Realty Group.
Okay?
Okay? Growing it?
Yes.
Okay. So you're definitely, how many people are within the
12.
firm now? So 12 people within the firm now. Most all of them producing agents? Would you, okay, so, and then what's kind of the plan with the company? What are you looking to do there? Growth-wise?
Growth-wise, I think that the teamerage model is kind of where things are going and where it's at. So kind of running a team within the brokerage.
Yep.
What I've found just having a brokerage and having a bunch of solo agents, some people swim and some people sink. And some people that sink are only sinking because they don't have a lifesaver thrown out at them.
Sure.
And I think that team is the team model can provide that for them. So basically looking at starting a team within the brokerage.
Yep. Okay.
And then don't forget, we still have the other two pillars of the business. So we have Family Capital Partners, which my husband runs, has taken off like crazy with acquisitions on the investment side, with fix and flip and,
Fix and flips,
and all
yep.
of that. So we've got kind of that side of the business, and then apartment locating,
Oh, okay. Yep.
which is family locators.
Family locators.
So all of it, combined, and so we've got the family locator. So you can start with us, and you can start, getting some apartments and building your database. That's what it's all about, and then staying in front of those people. So then you can transition them over to the Family Realty Group side and help them buy their first home
Yep.
and sell. And then the investment side for the people that can't necessarily do anything retail wise. I mean, we've utilized. It's so crazy because everything is crossing lines now. My husband, will have an investment appointment. I'll go with him. Turns out that what they need is really more retail, so I can list the property for them, but they're not looking to buy anything right now. So then we can go over to the apartment locating side
Sure.
and put them in
Yeah,
temporary
well,
housing.
But you're just taking care of people.
But we're just taking care of people. So
Right. And that's you have channels,
correct.
right, within an organization that can service an individual in any aspects
Correct.
that they're going through within their
Correct.
life. If they need rental right now, I mean, that's fine.
That's great.
If that's where they are in their life
Right.
today, then hey, can you take care of them?
Right.
Yes. If they want to own a home and buy something, can you take care of them?
Yes.
Yes. If they want to get into an investment entrepreneurial deal where they're buying and fixing and flipping or buying and holding, can you take care of them?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you've just said yes, right? You're not in a no business.
Yes.
You're in a yes business. And I think that's awesome that you've looked at it that way from a macro and a micro perspective to impact people. It's not a transaction. It's how do I impact a bigger scale, a larger group of individuals. I love that.
Correct.
I love that. So sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
Okay. If somebody wants to find out how to get into the Family Realty Group, if you're an agent out there or if you're an aspiring agent, are you looking at aspiring agents as well,
We
or
are.
just only experienced agents?
We're looking at both. It just depends on the person.
Okay.
So if you're interested, go to the website, www.familyrealtygroup.com, and click on the little tab that says Join the Fam.
Uh-huh.
And
family is spelled?
PH.
Yes.
AM.
PH. Family with a PH.
PH, like my last name. And just fill out that form, and you'll get instructions on how to fill out the application, take a little disc assessment, and kind of go through the process. We are in the process right now of hiring an assistant for us full-time for the group, and getting the team kind of assembled. So it's a lot going on.
And you're doing a lot of mentoring?
I am.
Okay.
I'm mentoring people that aren't even like here. I have so many people reach out to me from random places that are looking for mentoring.
Well, it's your willingness to give.
Yeah.
I think that's what you have. You have that outgoing personality, the ball buster type approach. You're very real and raw and authentic. But your message is all about just put it out there and give.
Right.
And so that does attract people to ask.
Right.
And I think that there's a healthy balance between just giving it all away and versus saying, hey, this is part of a mentoring program, now you're going to have to start paying for it.
Right.
Or join my brokerage and get it for free.
Correct.
Right, because that's what can potentially happen as well. I don't know if that's what it is, but that could potentially happen as well. But yeah, I mean, I think that it's what you're attracting. Back to your reason for getting into social media is you're putting it out there so you can attract the right people.
Right.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Man, I knew this was going to be good. I wanted to change up some questions, a little Q&A, get you a little off balance on some stuff.
You can't get me off balance, Bob.
I try, but I can't. I do.
I don't get off balance.
I've had people cry on the show. I've had people drink on the show. I've had a lot of things go on, but this one just cool, calm, and collected sits here. Let's roll. No, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's always great to see you. Boom. Hey, guys, thank you so much for hanging in here with this awesome Chauncey Pham Jam session, the 82nd. I really do appreciate you lending us your eyes and ears. Have an amazing day, and most importantly, go make somebody else's day even better. Take care.